Ladies and gentlemen, please be aware that foul language is prevalent within the following production. Have a nice day.
Everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Offenders Podcast. I'm Kyle.
What? I don't want to go out of order. You have to say yours.
Oh, I'm Evan.
Well, I'm Shane.
You still went out of order.
All right, guys. All right, guys. Well, that was a good show. We'll talk to you later. Bye. No, so there, people who follow us on Facebook probably know we had a little bit of a recording snafu. So what we've done this time is we went ahead and I actually transcribed all the audio I could get from the last time we recorded this episode. So in this episode, I am going to play the part of Evan. Evan is going to play the part of Shane, and Shane's going to play the part of me.
No, I'm not, you piece of shit.
Nice.
That was really clever.
But so yeah, we decided to go ahead and actually record it and get this guy's out to you, since the other one was pretty much unintelligible.
It was the best episode we ever let me tell you, angels were weeping, but no one gets to hear it because of the mic.
Well, I don't even know how. Yeah, I don't even know how we were able to get like Chris Pratt and fucking Alice Cooper to be on the show, but fuck, man. Oh well, down the drain now.
So instead, we got the fill-in, the Kmart version, if you will, Alice Pooper. He's pretty shitty, but what are you going to do?
Well, speaking of Alice Cooper, Evan, you've been going to some concerts. Tell us about them.
Yes. One of my childhood dreams was finally achieved. I got to see Motley Crue in concert. There were beautiful women dancing around, gyrating on the stage. I saw a brassiere that was... This is going to be hard to explain, but if you look at the boob part of a bikini, okay, you see it in your mind. It's kind of a weird circular triangle. If you take out 2/3 of that and just leave enough space for one bar to cover up a nipple, that is what they were wearing.
Nice.
It was fucking fantastic. Everybody else was like singing along, and I was like, I love you! Can I marry you? I don't think they heard me though, but it wasn't for lack of trying.
They thought you were talking to the band.
They played Live Wire, which was the song that I was looking forward to more than anything. They played Too Young to Fall in Love, Shout at the Devil, which was great because there was a bunch of people that were like refusing to sing along and looking upset. I'm like, you're at a fucking Motley Crue concert. And
so I'm not gonna lie, I couldn't think of name a single Motley Crue song. I know who Motley Crue is. But then we see Shout at the Devil. I was like, oh, yeah. Oh, Kickstart My Heart. Yeah, that's another one. Okay.
Yeah, that's the one that most people know. Home Sweet Home. It was so great, man. When they were singing Home Sweet Home, it was their last song. And, man, all these people were crying. It's like, it's just set me free. It was so awesome. And they ran through the crowd. There was, like, a little stage set up in the middle of the thing. So it was like, they were like, good night, everybody. We're like, damn, that was short. And then all of a sudden we see these flashlights running through the crowd. We're like, oh, shit. And my buddy Cody, who was really drunk, he's like, it's fucking Tommy Lee! And he points down there, and Tommy Lee's like waving his drumsticks in the air. I'm like, hey, it is Tommy Lee. All right, there's one more song. They get up on the stage and they play Home Sweet Home.
I was about to ask if it was like the original Crue, because and once again, this is going to show my knowledge of Motley Crue. I knew Tommy Lee was in it, but I only knew because he... fuck Pamela Anderson, and there's that video. Yeah. And is it Nikki Six? Okay, so that's all I know in there. But I thought I knew at least a couple people.
It was cool, man. Like they would do like each of them kind of had a moment where they could shine on their own. Like Nikki Six was telling the story of how they got together back in '81 and all this other stuff. But
good God. Yeah,
they're older than I am.
Me too.
And Alice Cooper opened up for them and was great. The drummer had this awesome... The entire drum set was green and looked like monster skin. And it was just fucking awesome. They have this really hot girl playing guitar for him now that's in this tribute band called the Iron Maidens. And it's just, I'm not a huge Alice Cooper fan, aside from just knowing the songs from like old Headbangers Ball episodes and Wayne's World, but they did a really good job.
So she's in a tribute band to Beastie Boys, right? With that name?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
The Beastie Girls.
The Beastie Girls.
Yes.
I think there's a group. Oh no, they're called the Yeasty Girls.
Oh.
No, like legit. Like there's a punk girl
You're
group.
just trying to get a rise out of us.
No, there's a punk girl group called the Yeasty Girls. I shit you not. You could look it up.
Did you find that on Reddit?
No.
Does all their music go viral too?
No, the reason I know about it is because there's this chick that raps who her rap name's Kitty Pryde, and she contributes a lot of her yeah, and she contributes a lot of her background and music to listening to them when she was younger.
I see.
Well, let's get down to brass tacks, brother. Are they making any bread?
I think they're one of those bands that was like really, really like in the background, and like you had to really seek them out. So
Gotcha.
I don't think they were anything mainstream.
Thank you, Shane. But my favorite part of the entire concert was personal story. About 10 or 11 years ago, I was in a band, and
No.
yeah, can you believe it?
About
And,
5 minutes ago, you were in about 10 bands.
yeah, unfortunately. And we were playing this big concert. It was a metal fest, and there was this other band that was playing, and my drummer, who was notorious for being an amazing dickhead, ended up making out with this girl. Well, he had been making out with this girl for like 10, 15 minutes, so I took it upon myself to go make fun of him because he was just showing off at that point. Well, so...
Did you just go back there and stand in front of him and start chanting, "Seal the deed! Seal the deed!
Suck the D!" No. I went back there, and unbeknownst to me, there was a very tall, drunken, red-headed older gentleman there who had been watching quite intently. So I didn't notice him. I was too busy saying, I'm going to go fuck with Jason Wade. So I go over there, and I'm just like, kissy face. They're like, shut up, Evan, shut up. And this guy just got so angry. And he's like, I was enjoying the show until Danny Dracula showed up. That night I was wearing this gigantic black trench coat. This was back when I was all, into black. God, this was 2001, so I was still pretty angry and shit. Surprised I even made a joke. But the point is, he flipped out, so he was just like, so you're just trying to destroy everybody's good time? Maybe I ought to remind you and put you in your place. So I was just like, what? Because I wasn't even expecting some old man to start a fight with me. So I laughed because it was funny to me. Well, apparently like 3 or 4 other people immediately sensed it, like fucking giraffes on the savannah who can smell a lion coming away. So like all these dudes are just like, no. And this one guy named Ryan from this band called Malefactor, he's like, he's from Baxley, so he's like one of the thickest accents of all time. He's like, oh, you want to start some shit with Evan? Why don't you start some shit with me? I've got a fucking knife. And we're just like, whoa! So anyway, the reason that I'm telling you this story is that very same gentleman ended up being my friend's father. Like, not like he gave birth to them, but a friend that I made later, that was his dad. So that was awkward. This was my first time seeing him. He went to that concert with us. This is my first time seeing it. So I told him, I was like, dude, your dad's not going to kill me, is he? Because he was really upset with me that night. He's like, oh, no. So, like, it was weird.
Did his dad even remember you?
No, not at all.
No.
Not at all. But not until he reminded him. But then he was just like, at the end of the night, he's like, no hard feelings, brother. He's like this big redneck with all these tattoos and stuff. But he's a funny guy. But
it'd have been great if the moment he saw you, he was just like, Danny fucking Dracula.
Yeah, that would have been great.
That would have been
Because now I could have kicked his ass. But the whole point is, like, we were walking out of the concert, and Cody, which is the previously mentioned friend's pretty much brother, we had walked in front of this Ford Mustang, which was stuck in the middle of the sea of people exiting the Motley Crue concert. And he's like, hey man, good luck getting out. And the guy in the Mustang said something like, thanks buddy. But this dude's dad had drank so much that he was like, what the fuck did you say to him, you motherfucker? And we were just like, whoa. And Billy, the guy who it was his dad was like, Dad, no! God damn it! So he had to like run over there and grab him. And like, this happened so fast that I didn't even realize it was serious. I thought he was being funny. Then I realized, oh no, he really wants to kill the guy in the Mustang. So by that time, Billy and Cody were just like, Cody was laughing, but he was trying to contain the dude's dad.
I want a reality TV show that just follows this guy around to all these places he goes. 'Cause it seems like he seems like an older version of Ryan Smith. Like he's just waiting for that fight. And the moment there's something that could be a fight, he's ready for it.
This is like Ryan Smith plus the Red Hulk.
Nice.
Because he has red
I like
hair.
this.
He's just so angry, man. Like
I'm pitching this show to CMT right now.
Like we would look back in the rearview mirror, and the guy he was following us in his car. He would be like shaking his head like Stone Cold Steve Austin, yelling into his cell phone. And we're just like, what the fuck is he mad about now?
Jeez.
But anyway, that was like so funny. So like all the way home, it was like somebody would say something to somebody in the back seat, and I'd be like, "What'd you say to him, you motherfucker? Hey, with me, you motherfucker!" God, it was amazing. It's something that like I would have paid money just to walk by to see.
I would call the show Redneck Rage Page. That's what he's doing. It's just raging and rampaging constantly.
And then I would make the tagline, "You're gonna love this show because it rips." RRP, get it? But, oh man, I was so mad though because I was gonna get a Motley Crue shirt. $40
That doesn't surprise me. I've never bought. Like I don't go to a lot of concerts, but I've always thought about buying shirts when they're, and then I'll be like, "Oh, cool, that's a sweet shirt. Like, how much is that?" Oh, no, I can get that same shirt online for $20.
So I go to concerts all the time. Like it's normal, you see them about $20-$25, no problem. But I'm guessing since Motley Crue is hanging it up, so to speak, they got to start padding those bank accounts. And with all the beer that is sold there, that's a lot of fucks that will not be given for people who are just like, "Oh, that fucking Motley Crue shirt, dude."
That's probably true.
Everybody's drunk and nostalgic.
Dude, you have no idea. There were so many old people there. I mean, I know I'm no spring chicken, but goddamn, it was ridiculous. It looked like a bunch of lawyers trying to be cool.
I imagine it was like MILF Central.
There was a couple of them. There was two that were in front of us that had mastered the Tawny Kitayan winger dancing on the car, wiggle the hips head shake dance.
Oh my god!
That might not be the perfect name for it. There might be a better name, but that should illustrate the point well.
What song was that? Here I Go Again. Was that it?
On my own.
That was just, I was thinking that was a music video for her grinding that car pretty good.
When we go, next time we go to the Hard Rock Cafe, we need to remember to request that song.
Oh, that dude will love it. You know, that dude's just like, that guy's so awesome. Cause
he's going to be like, "Winger, all right, I remember in 1986 I was the guitar tech."
That's some crazy story. Like, "Oh yeah, I toured with them and blah, 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 blah." And the thing is, it's like, his stories, sometimes people tell you stories like that, you're like, mm-hmm. But, like, this guy's, like, legit. Like, I don't question his stories. If he's lying, then he's really good at it. Like, he's got them worked out. Like, he memorizes them each night before he goes in.
Tells them in front of the mirror.
Yeah.
So, not really related, but when I hear guitar tech, I just imagine, like, something goes wrong. It's like, dude, my guitar just broke down. He's like, "I've got it. Give me a few more seconds, man. I've almost got it fixed." He's like got a spanner, and he's like, "Pass me that soldering iron, god damn it. I'm the technician."
There's a whole pit crew that runs out and goes on stage. There's like one guy who looks exhausted because he's been working on it for 15 seconds. He's wiping sweat off his forehead.
Well, there's also the guy that runs out really quick and hydrates the guitarist, like just sprays water in his face. So like they're doing that.
They have the big gravity-fed like water thing instead of gasoline. It's like
yeah. And there's another guy off to the side who's like actually like timing it because he's trying to get him down to the side. Like, they got to get this in and out in 10 seconds because every second that he's not out there like playing that guitar, it's a second somebody else could be out there playing that guitar.
And it's like Robert Duvall from Days of Thunder is in the back with the headset on, whistling his S's. "Son, you need to hurry this shit up."
You know what would be perfect? if that came out and then they started playing "Kickstart My Heart" because of the guitar lead.
Oh yeah! Tom Cruise just drives the fucking the Mellow Yellow car?
Yeah, right onto the stage.
Whoa! Yeah!
Oh my god, that'd be so epic. I would go to more concerts if shit like that would happen.
It was pretty great. There was like all kinds of explosions. Oh man, you know, like in amphitheaters, they usually have big lighting rigs, like things that hang down from the top. This one was a fucking pentagram, a giant inverted pentagram lighting rig. I was like, yes, thank you, Satan. This is the coolest thing I've ever seen.
This is one of those things. Like, I know that when Motley Crue was big back in the 80s and stuff, when they first kind of hit the scene, people were like, that's devil music, blah, 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 blah. Nowadays, doesn't even cross my mind. I would not even, I'm like, why'd they have a pentagram there? I mean, I was like, oh yeah, I guess like back in the day, people thought it was like devil worship music, when now you could actually listen to devil worshiping music. You know?
Yeah, they were still all about those pentagrams though, man. Like, they each of them had them somewhere on their clothing, and Nikki Sixx's microphone was just hanging down off the ceiling, and it had like a big, huge pentagram on it. And I was like, man, this is so great. Somebody out there is probably really mad that they came to this concert. But all in all, man, it was great. And it's awesome because I got the ticket because my buddy had to give up his ticket because he had some shit he had to do. It was a family emergency thing. So he's like, here, you take this. And I was like, oh my God, thank you. God above, thank you for this ticket to my childhood dream.
That's pretty sweet. I remember...
It was very sweet. You know, I almost cried.
I had one time somebody was like, hey, I got this ticket to the U2 concert that's in Atlanta tonight, but I can't go. Do you want it? And I was like, I don't give a fuck about U2. I don't want to go see that shit. So I turned it down. But the person who's with me took it. And I then later found out that the opening band was Muse, which I would have loved to have seen live. And I was just like, motherfucker. I would have just left when they were done. I don't give a shit about U2. I never really cared for them.
I love New Year's Day. That's a fucking great song.
They have one or two good songs, but like I couldn't name any albums or anything. I could maybe mention songs. Well, so
have we talked about U2 guy from Japan on this podcast?
If we have, I've already forgotten it.
Okay, quick story. I've been to Japan a couple times, and one of the times that I went over there, I went to Harajuku Olympic Square, which is where most of the people show off their cosplays and the clothes that they make up and stuff. It's where you see all the Harajuku girls and stuff like that. And anyway, there was this dude standing facing a wall with a boom box, dressed in all leather with like a fucking big huge pompadour and sunglasses on. So I'm like, okay, this dude's obviously an Elvis impersonator. So I walk closer and I hear, I will be with you again.
Oh my God.
And this dude is just singing U2 songs. We stood there for at least 15 minutes while he went through these songs, staring at the wall the whole fucking time. Never made 1 ounce of contact towards the rest of humanity looking at him. Just dancing, staring at the wall, singing U2. And I'm like, this is one of the coolest fucking things I have ever seen. So I said to myself, what is this U2 man trying to accomplish? Is this some form of Zen meditation where he blocks out the world and single-mindedly follows his dream? And then you can look it up on fucking YouTube. Just type in Japan U2 guy, and you'll see him singing to the fucking wall. It's amazing.
That is a bit crazy.
I love Japan, man. So much.
So, kind of on the Japan stint, in the new program I'm in at school here, there's 2 different things I'm trying to do research and write papers and stuff for. And the first day I went to this one class that my advisor was teaching, I was wearing my Hamada t-shirt. It's got Hamada's face on it, and it says Tsukukomi along the side, and it has it in English, but it also has the kanji for it. And so another student who he's advising, she's Chinese, and she sees that, and she's just like, that must be Japanese. I say, yeah, and I explain it to her and him, and then he's like, well, if you want to go to Japan, then we need to get a paper done because the next conference for this group is in Japan in summer, and you can get funding to go through the school if you're presenting. I was like, well, let's get going.
Yeah,
we
totally.
Start this today. So that's my goal, is to go to Japan on the school's ticket to present at some conference. Of course, watch it turn out it's not in like Tokyo. We'll probably be in some podunk little town somewhere, but
it's
still
damn it,
Japan.
I can't remember the town. Shit. I can't remember the province or whatever the fuck they call it. I had a good one, but I couldn't remember.
It's okay. Maybe you remember it, then you could just jump back in with it.
Never.
So, let's move on to a story that we were requested to speak about.
Yes.
We were requested to speak about it by a longtime listener, Misty. And Shane, why don't you tell us about the story?
All right, I'll tell you about this story. This tragic story of mutant abuse. Now, I know that the people who know about it think it's not has anything to do with mutants. So you just sit back and relax, gentlemen, and I'll explain it to you.
Okay.
So this wonderful
I'm already
gentleman,
confused.
this wonderful gentleman, who's had a horrible day, he just wanted to get him some Burger King. So he goes into the Burger King.
Wanted to have it his way.
To have it his way, indeed. And lo and behold, behind him comes this woman and this child who's being very annoying. The woman's like talking on the cell phone, and the child is just like, I want some pie, I want some pie, I want some pie, I want some pie. And you know, this wonderful, upstanding gentleman who's just the best person ever. If you've ever met him, you just give him $1. Mm-hmm. He's like, I had such a headache. But that's not important. Because the people around me might be irritated by this child. And she's busy talking on the phone, no doubt negotiating world peace. So let me turn around and ask her, ma'am, could you quiet your child down? Because I have a headache and all the wonderful people around me may be irritated about it. And that might cause you some discomfort if they were to say anything. So I'm going to say something. So she gets in his face and yells at him about it, of course. Because that's what you do.
When you're trying to broker world peace.
When you're trying to broker world peace.
Exactly.
Well, that's how you teach your child the way to act in public and to others is by yelling at someone when they ask you something nicely.
Immediately. This is how things go. So he turns back around and with his paladin-like demeanor, he just ignores it. And then the child goes back to, I want some pie, I want some pie. She's like, don't worry, sweetie, I'll buy you some pie. And then is where the mutant crisis comes, these filthy muties. Because just like in the movie, like when Mystique shapeshifts into someone and whispers into the guy's ear, like, find all the mutants, find them. Or find all the humans, find them. She's like, buy all the pies, buy them, buy all the pies. And he's like, I will buy all the pies. So he buys all of the pies, and then he walks off. And as he's leaving, he hears the woman yelling about, why aren't there any more pies? And he looks back, he sees the cashier pointing at him. And so, just so she doesn't feel too bad about it, he pulls one of the pies out and starts eating them just to show him, don't worry, I'll eat all the pies. However, the biased media claims that he was a spiteful man and bought all of the pies just to get back at this kid. I don't think that's true. I think it's a mutant agenda.
Well,
and that's the story.
I don't know about the mutant agenda, but I don't necessarily... Well, I guess if you look spiteful up in the dictionary, he probably was being spiteful. But
yes.
It's one of those things I think is okay when you're dealing with a bitch.
Actually, it was a typographical error because he also ordered a large Sprite, and he was spriteful because he had drank all the Sprite, which made him very excited because of the sugar content. And then he's like, "Give me all those fucking pies right now! I need those fucking pies right now!" So he eats them, and he's just looking at her like a ravenous wildebeest on a fucking plate. So she's like, "Where are the pies?" And he's just eating all of the fucking pies, and the kid's just like, "Nah!"
So I don't even remember Burger King having pies, but then I started thinking about it. Yeah, they don't have like hot apple pies like McDonald's do. They actually had like those little Hershey's chocolate pies, right?
Cold chocolate pies.
Damn. I mean, I wonder how many of them he actually ended up buying. Like, did they only have 5 or was it like 20? Did he buy like 40 or something? Because that's
ones
a big
I
deal.
see, there's about 10 or 15, I think, in the
If
little
he
case.
bought 10 or 15 of those fucking pies, then yeah, he was spiteful. If he ended up buying like 4 or 5, then he was just being an awesome
we don't
dude.
know how many was left, so.
We don't know. So we'll have to leave that up in the air. Regardless, the guy was fucking awesome.
So the level of spite to be measured in daily activity requires amount of pie intake.
Well, in this situation, maybe spite in another situation is how many,
I think
baby
it counts.
kick.
I like how Kyle has a justification for enough spite.
Yeah.
Because even if there was like let's say there was like 100 pies there, but the kid only wanted an apple pie, and you bought the last one. You're still being if you weren't going to order it before, you're being spiteful.
Sir, there's one thing. If I've forgotten everything I learned in my master's program, which I've literally forgotten a lot of it. I realized sitting in classes this week, but it's coming back slowly. But if there's one thing I did learn, it's that I don't have to be absolute on anything. So I need to create scales that I can judge stuff by. Like, I don't want to say that guy's an asshole, but on a scale, he is about a 95% asshole right now. Or this guy's being spiteful. It's like based on the number of pies that he bought at the time. If he had bought like 20 pies, that guy was spiteful as fuck. But it's still cool. I'm not saying I don't like what he did. I still like it. But yes, he was spiteful. If he bought like 4 or 5, nah, he probably just has a lot of sugar he needs in his diet, and those things probably have a ton of it. He just likes pie.
So you're saying that in this particular case, the amount of asshole he was being is directly proportional to how much you like him.
Well,
can we get this on a pie chart?
Oh, God.
I've resisted making a joke about mathematical pi like 10 times already.
Yes.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I like a lot of people who are assholes. In fact, most of my friends are assholes.
Lies, and slander.
Some of us are jerks 29% of the time.
Well, what's great is when people who don't realize that, like, I can be that kind of jerk, but still funny about it.
Who the fuck doesn't realize
Yeah,
well, no,
I know you.
Well, no,
a
but
stranger.
Well, the thing is when I'm in like a classroom or an academic setting and I'm trying to be professional, I don't do that as much. Like I might make little quips, but they're kind of like, oh, ha ha ha. But then like we get out and we'll go like we're off, not doing anything with class, and maybe have a drink. They're like, wow, I thought you were so nice, and you're just an asshole. But it's okay because you're an okay asshole. Like that's good. I try not to be. I mean, because I think not only can you classify people as an asshole, but then you classify them as an okay or not an okay asshole. And that really depends on who I'm talking to.
It's funny, we're kind of talking about that on the way over here.
Yeah, that is
about
true.
Some of the comedians who aren't funny and they're just being assholes. It's
Yeah,
like,
there's
they
a lot
don't
of
do it
those.
right. They don't do it well.
I just facepalm when I hear most of the jokes because it's not even funny. It's like you got picked on way too much and haven't handled that shit like an adult.
I used to like going to like the open mic nights, but that's what a lot of that is. It's just like people being straight assholes. Like if you're going to do that kind of comedy where you call people out that are there, you really need to build up to that. You can't open your set with, check out this faggot sitting in front of me. Done. Already I'm not laughing.
How clever of you.
Yeah, literally.
Because you're just like, they're being straight assholes and they immediately make fun of gays.
Yeah.
I see what you did there. That was great. Oh, but I forgot to make this joke earlier. If there's one thing that I've learned, it's that we love Misty. Thank you so much for listening. Big shout out to Gary the Fox.
Yes.
The fucking coolest fox in the entire world. We look up porn together all the time and we compare. Is this titty bigger than this one? I don't know. Let's check out the shading. Now, based on the way that the sun is falling on the breast and the nipple pointing up, I would say that yes, this one is larger. Gary the Fox is my man. And Leona Explosion is one of the greatest hentai manga of all time. Thank you, Misty.
Jeez.
Fair enough. But yeah, this story too, it came from a subreddit, didn't it? What was it called?
Get it off my chest.
Get it off my chest.
Which is what women most say to me when I put my dick there. Get off my chest! I'm trying to get it off if you'll be still.
Jesus.
Wow. I was
That was
expecting you to go for
unexpected.
like when I put my hand on it, but
Nope.
you're doing it wrong. Like I just now imagine like some women are sitting around like a table, like in like Panera Bread eating, and you just walk up, you just like plop right on someone's chest, and she's like, "Get it off my chest."
I actually learned it from Hokuto Maru from Ninja Nonsense. And what I do is I get in my ninja outfit with my dick hanging out, and I'll jump up to the ceiling and crawl along the rafters. And then when I find a woman with enough cleavage, I'll just drop with my dick ready to go and just fall right between the cleavage with the dick. And usually they're either like, that was so amazing that I'm going to let you finish. Or they're usually just like, ah, get it off me! And I'm like, I'm trying to get it off. See, I went back to the same joke.
Okie dokie.
In my dreams.
You're a disturbing young man.
You are.
Danny Dracula.
I've been watching a lot of Beavis and Butthead lately. That's probably why.
Disturbing young man. Danny
Destroying our youth.
Dude. You know, I realize this is totally off subject, but with
So
all the
was
Beavis
that.
Beavis and Butthead, imagine that. With all the Beavis and Butthead I've watched, I've realized that my love for puns actually comes from that show, if not completely, then a large portion of it. I didn't realize how many puns they make in an episode.
Well,
It's
I
outstanding.
think a lot of that's too because when we were younger when watching it, we might not have gotten a lot of them.
Yeah.
But like, was it Mike Judge who made them? Because he
Yeah.
also did King of the Hill, right?
Mhm.
Both of those have a lot of like puns and jokes that you can catch when you're older and understand it. Like, you know, another show like that was Animaniacs.
Yeah.
Watching that as a kid, like, oh, it's funny because they're doing goofy stuff, and maybe I get some of the jokes. But like, when I was older watching, I was like, wow, there's a lot more like humor in here than you would catch as a kid.
Especially like, hey, make sure you get the prints when they're dusting for fingerprints, and she's holding prints like the singer prints.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, fingerprints, and they just look at each other and don't say anything.
Yeah.
Whoa!
There's a lot of comedy like that in there. And like I
Holy
remember
shit.
Yeah.
going to a panel at Dragon Con one year when the guy who did the voice of which was the older brother? Was it Wacko or Yakko? He did the
Wacko, and Dot. I think he might be Yakko's the older one.
Yeah, he did the voice of the oldest brother, and he did a lot of other voices. He was actually there for like an Adult Swim panel because he was doing the voice. He had done the voice of some characters in a lot of those shows, and they were talking to him about like that and how Animaniacs still has a pretty big fan base. And he's like, well, it's because you could have watched that with your kids, and your kids don't get a lot of the humor, and they'll enjoy it because it's goofy Warner Brothers comedy. But as an adult, you can watch it and you realize that like it was raunchy as hell half the time. He's like, and we would record it and we'd be like, God, this is never gonna get past the censors. And then it get past the censors and be like, oh my God, how did this get past the censors? So it's pretty cool to hear him talk about that and like, yeah, and actually acknowledge that, yeah, that show it's got 2 levels that you can watch it on. So, and I've pondered going back and rewatching it. Like even Pinky and the Brain kind of had some of it, but not as much. But those guys who wrote that were pretty good, and they knew what they were doing. I want to say
I gotta go back and watch it.
Yeah, some of the guys I think who worked on that actually also worked on the Batman animated stuff because they were all the Warner Brothers animation guys, and at one point they were all doing stuff together because the studio was like 10 people. So you know, this really small group of guys working together, writing and doing it. So I think a lot of them worked on that too. So that was a great time in American animation, truthfully. But kind of bringing up Dragon Con, that's coming up, man.
Hell yeah. And I found out some awesome news earlier this week. Originally, myself and 2 other employees had put in to request for it off. And then our boss said, there's no way in hell all 3 of you are getting it off. And since I asked last, I did the right thing, and I was like, fine, I will back out. So then it was only the 2 of them, and the boss said, only one of you can get it off. You got to figure it out between yourselves. And then they both were just like, well, I don't want to give it up. I want to go. I've got plans. Hey, I've got plans too. So they went to the head honcho, so to speak, and they both got it off. Well, one of the people had to back out because their plans fell through. And originally I was like, awesome, here's my chance. So I asked for it off, and they were like, nope. And I was like, God damn it. So about a week later, I get an email that's like, we talked it over and you're getting the day off. So I was like, yeah! 2 days of Dragon Con! That's like 700 cosplays I get to look at. 15 Caribou coolers I get to drink. Yes! Yes! So now I will be there for Friday and Saturday.
It's like 200 butts you get to have pushed up against your nuts as you stand in line and move through them.
Butts to nuts.
Butts to nuts. You know, I was talking with some folks about Dragon Con this year, and there's some people here I know in Athens who've never been, and I told them, like, listen, go one time, go on Saturday, it's the biggest day, just see how crazy it is. Like, it is, because it is massive. But
70,000 last year, right?
yeah, I think they say it was up around there. I don't know if it was exactly 70 or a little less, but it was
That's
a lot.
like a small town of awesome people.
Yeah, like where you guys live in Macon, Macon only has 90,000 people in it. That was basically everybody in Macon could have been there, almost.
That would be terrible, probably.
There were a lot of people from Macon there anyways, because
a lot of people wouldn't understand what the fuck was going on and probably would try to shoot. It's the devil!
But
I can carry this shotgun, the law said so.
But yeah, so like, and there's a lot to see, but my problem with DragonCon is it's too big. And I just, like, how many panels did we want to go or try to go to, but like, we were like, fuck it, the line's too long, or we got there and it was like, there's not any room. And that that irritates me, because it's like, well, they didn't think ahead on this, or like, there's not enough, they should put this in bigger rooms, or they need more rooms, or whatever.
Hopefully this year will be better, because I know they've added an extra hotel, which is way off in bumfuck Egypt, if I remember.
Yeah.
But still, it's an extra hotel, so maybe they'll put all the Doctor Who shit in one place so the rest of us can just actually enjoy ourselves.
I think that's part of the other problem, is that when I first went to DragonCon, like in 2000, like, I was really into the type of stuff that was going on there. And it was smaller, too. At that point, it was only like 20-something thousand, maybe 30 at most. And it was manageable. And I could be like, oh, man, yeah, this is everything I'm into. But the last couple years I've gone, it's like, I'm not into any of this shit. I don't watch Doctor Who. This show's been off the air for 10 to 20 years. Who cares? Stuff like that. And it's just like, I'm just not into this as much. So when I do go, I have a good time, but it's because of, like, the people I'm with, know.
Absolutely.
That's part of the big thing about cons to me, is the people you go with. Like, you don't want to go with the people that are going to make it miserable for you.
Yeah. And they'll screw it up, and you'll get arrested. That's all we go with when you're on the con. You want to take really like Ocean's 11 with you? That's who you want. You don't want like Bubba and.
These are the kind of people that need to go with us. People like Shade, who make jokes and you're like, what the fuck? Oh!
Yeah, I was really lost. I'm glad you started explaining it.
I got it like 2 seconds afterward, because my brain like looked at it from a different angle. It's like, that con, I got it. Yes.
But
I just noticed that when I tell jokes like that, I tell it like one of the little game show quiz games where they'll start giving you hints if you don't get it. It's like, now I'll stop. All right, Evan got it. All right, let me go a little further. Here's your first hint.
Yeah. Evan got more points for that one because he answered it quicker than I did.
Yes.
But, so are you going up with other people, or is it just you, Evan?
Wesley and I are going to be going up there, and we're meeting Jacob and his girlfriend, and there's a bunch of people that are going to be up there that I'm supposed to meet. Like, Britt and Sarah will be there.
Well, that's a good thing about DragonCon being in Atlanta, too, though, is because, like, where we live, you're going to know a ton of people that are going, because it's so easy to go, because it's only up the road. So.
The way you said that made me think of Brit. You said Britain, Sarah.
Britain.
So it's like, hey, Sarah. Oh, hello there, Evan.
I've brought this tiger's milk bar for you to enjoy. What the fuck is tiger's milk? Oh, it's absolutely delightful. Isn't it brilliant?
So, is there anything you're looking forward to seeing at DragonCon, or any panels you're thinking about, or any celebrities that are supposed to be there you want to meet?
You know, I haven't even looked at the fucking schedule yet. How sad is that?
It just went up. Like, I saw somebody talking about it, like, within the last 2 days, so.
Well, I guess that's why I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just go, the reason that I go to most cons is to buy a poster or a t-shirt, take as many cosplay pictures as possible, and make jokes with my friends, and drink as much coffee, decaffeinated preferably, and eat as many cookies, chocolate chip, as possible.
Okay, I want to talk about your coffee consumption also for a minute.
Okay, let's do it.
I don't have a problem with the amount that you intake, because I drink a lot too. But, and it's not just your coffee intake, it's your food intake too. So, we go somewhere to eat or drink. And, you're walking around these cons and you're tired and you want to sit down maybe for a few minutes and chill out. Evan gets his food and drink, and literally, he eats it like there's a gun to his head. Like, eat this fucking thing right now! And he's just like, just gone. And I'm just like, dude, I'm not going to take your food from you. We're not.
Goddamn right you're not, because I'm too fast.
We're not like Somalia where there's like people going to rob you of your food. You can slow down and eat it slow. Actually, taste it rather than inhale it.
I need you to enjoy the French fry, Evan. Brother, you're missing all of the potassium goodness.
Well, it's the same thing with like coffee. Like, it's not like you get like, oh, let me get one of those small or mediums. Evan's like, you mean the biggest motherfucking coffee you got? And like, I'll be in line after him, and by the time I turn around, he's done finished it. I was like, shit, man, that was only 2 minutes.
Well, see, the secret is, I don't really like to talk about this, but I am a reincarnated Oni from Japan. But I've been wearing this human skin since 1981. So anytime I have to take in something to sustain myself, I just devour it totally.
That makes sense.
And I just, I kind of let a hint go earlier when they did the no makeup February for boobs or whatever it was, and I showed the picture of my true self, which is a red-skinned Oni with a Brillo pad mustache, and that's how I really look. But not everybody enjoys that, so I wear this human skin.
What no makeup? What the hell is no makeup for boobs?
It was like one. Like how they have this ALS ice water bucket challenge thing. It was another thing like that, like to bring awareness to like breast cancer. Don't wear makeup.
What? How does? What are their faces so ugly that you just look at their breasts if they don't have makeup on? I don't understand.
I don't
never
understand
thought
how
that works.
That sounds like something I would say.
I've never thought about it though, and now you say that, Shane, and I don't think they thought about that either. But it makes a lot of sense. It's like, oh my god, I didn't put makeup on. Look at my breast.
We need to make up some silly, nonsensical shit that actually gets fucking help for something else. So we need to take something like...
I pitched one today. Because somebody made this comment like, wow, these ALS people are making a ton of money. Which is cool because that it's one of these diseases. Like, there's a video I watched today of a guy who actually had ALS who did the ALS challenge. He's like, I like this being in the spotlight because I actually get to talk about it. He's like, because you don't want to talk about it normally to people because it's depressing. And most people don't know about it. So it's like you don't bring it up in your everyday life, but this gives me a chance to talk about it. So I was like, yeah, that's cool that it's making a lot of money. I've got an idea for one. So what you can do is, this is the challenge, is you can take a piece of raw beef and you can slap it on your inner thigh and record it. And if you don't, you donate $20 to me. And after you've done it, you nominate 50 of your friends to record videos and do it too, or donate $20 to me.
Oh, we'll call it the Beat Your Meat Challenge.
Exactly.
I hope no one misunderstands.
The Beat Your Meat Challenge.
Yeah.
Don't send me videos of you masturbating, because, well, unless you're an attractive female, that's okay. But don't, if you're a guy, send me beat the meat videos. Unless you're actually.
What if you're getting ready to cook like amazing steak and you're just like tenderizing it with the hammer? Is that okay?
No. You have to. Basically, this is based on the how-to basic videos. Where the guy's always just, I don't know if you've seen them, Evan. They're weird, but they're hilarious to me. Not funny to everybody. But the guy does stuff like, he'll just take like pieces of raw beef and you'll just hear him like, he's like slapping him on his legs and like throwing it around.
You sent me one of those.
Yeah, it's basically like that. I was like, you want to use an egg? You can do an egg. I guess eggs are kind of meat. I don't know where
that should be their new slogan. Eggs. It's kind of meat.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know where they fall in the meat spectrum.
I immediately thought of like Meat is Murder, and now I want to like
Delicious
film something
murder.
where we're going around and like, we see somebody at ATM and they're counting money, and we just pull out a hamburger and eat it, and they just fall over bleeding, and they just pick up their money and walk off.
That's
Meat
a
is
great
Murder.
idea. We need to work on that immediately.
Oh god.
Oh, Evan, I've got one you could do. You could do where basically somebody has to go buy a container of Altoids and they have to take 10 of them in their mouth at once.
Nobody can handle that but me and Maestro Awesome McKickass.
Or they donate $20 to you. And then they have to nominate 50 friends to do it too.
And I'm going to pass on my charity and put all of the money into Maestro Awesome McKickass's charity, which is Take Fat Awkward Kids on Dates with Hot Girls charity.
Oh my god. I
was
want
a fat
that
awkward
reality
kid.
TV show. That sounds hilarious.
Because think about it. Kyle, you and I were fat awkward kids. We still are. Okay? Let's get down to brass tacks. And if you could take like a Shannon Elizabeth and for like she would donate money and then she would just take like some 15-year-old fucking World of Warcraft player out on a date. And it's just like, that's everything he ever wanted. Maybe that would make, life turn around for them. So they'd stop playing World of Warcraft for once.
I don't know.
So
I think it would
here's-
just be really awkward and hilarious. Or it's one of those things that would be so awkward, it's awkward to watch. Have you seen that kind of stuff where it's like somebody does something, you're like, oh my god, this isn't even funny. I just feel awkward watching them do this.
Yeah, like the romantic comedies that ain't funny. It's like, oh, these terrible things keep happening to this guy. It's not his fault.
Yeah.
I think romantic comedy is an oxymoron because it sure is fucking funny.
Occasionally, some of them have been funny.
It's accidental.
I would probably be like that asshole at the sports bar who's an armchair quarterback. I'd be like, her boob is right next to your arm. She touched her boob to your arm. Why didn't you go in for the hug? She held her arms out. So that probably would be
I just thought of something else when you thought about maybe they'll stop playing World of Warcraft for once. Now imagine this wonderful situation that just came to my mind because my brain is awesome. Imagine a man and a woman that are married.
Okay.
But the woman is married to a professional gamer. And when he goes to the tournaments and stuff, he wins like, $100,000 a time, something like that.
Okay.
So he's sitting there doing math because he just likes math. He's just sitting there, and all day long, he's just doing math. And she comes in there, and he's like, what are you doing? It's like, well, I was doing this math equation. I was going to see if I could solve it. I was thinking about, going to college for a mathematics degree or something. Maybe, I don't know. I just like doing math in my time. I was like, honey, stop doing that goddamn math and go play video games. We got to put food on the fucking table.
That was great. At first, I had no idea where that was going, but then I saw it when he started.
That is an interesting thing because like I see these people, like I watched, we talked about the fighting game tournament Evo and stuff, and like you see these guys and some of them do look like the typical gamer that you see stereotype, but some of them I'm like, God, that motherfucker's ripped as hell. I mean, I'd be afraid to bump into that guy in a dark alley, whoop my ass, And then you see them with their girls, and you're like, God damn, where'd he get a girl like that? And I was like, well, I guess if you're making like money playing video games and you don't have to go to a job and stuff, you kind of have open time to go train and work out whenever you aren't in a job or training to do your video game stuff. And so then you get in shape, look good, and have money from winning tournaments. So
that's possible, but I'm pretty sure they were more likely one of the ones that was already cool and ripped, and it's just like, I'm gonna play this fucking game because I got nothing else to do, and then they just got really good at it. But they probably already had all that other shit beforehand anyway.
Oh, is that how it worked?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm gonna say this, and I think this is a lot of people that like when you work 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, and you're exhausted when you get home, it is very difficult to convince yourself to, now I should go work out. Or even go do it before work because, God, I'm going to be so tired by the time I get there. And I think not having that probably makes it easier to go work out. Not having that 9 to 5.
And imagine if you're, like, professionally playing, like, some like League of Legends or something, and all day people are just being assholes, or like Dota or something, like or even fighting games where people are talking shit all day. You're like, those motherfuckers! When I see them, I fucking turn on, whoop their ass. And you go to the gym, you're like, 1, 2, 3. It's coming.
Birds I will kill. 4, 5.
Yes, exactly.
Just getting like fucking pumped up.
Turn into ogre.
Well, that would explain why a lot of the top tier people are kind of like buff or ripped looking, because it's just like, someone talks shit to me, this motherfucker, it's going down. I ain't got no time for this bullshit. But or the other side of it is the reason they're all skinny is because they spend so much time playing the games they just don't go eat. That's what I think a lot of it probably is. They just sit there and just drink Mountain Dew and Monster and stay up all day and night and just don't eat that much.
Oh man.
So I don't know, like, I mean, I've been working out, trying to get in shape some and stuff like that, but like, I was talking to somebody about it the other day, and I said, I think people do it for the wrong reason. And this guy does physical therapy. He runs it out of the student health center up here, and he's like, oh man, he's like, I can't go to the gym. He's like, I can't go to the gym because I'm going to go. I just see people in there doing it wrong, and it makes me so angry. He's like, because the question, he's like, I always want to ask somebody, why are you doing what you're doing? Are you doing it because you're trying to get in shape? Are you doing it because you want to be healthy? Are you doing it because you want to make great selfies? Why? And he's like, half the people don't know why they're doing it. They're just doing it because they think they should be doing it.
Man, it's funny you mentioned that because I had to go to the gym last night because I didn't get to go during the day because I had jury duty. So I go last night, right when it opens up at midnight, and I go in there and I get on the treadmill. You know, I do my normal 3 miles. And the whole fucking time that I'm running on the gym, there's these 2 assholes in like fucking Under Armour shirts standing there talking. The entire fucking, how long did it? It was about 27 minutes. It was about a 9-minute mile that I was running. I was taking it easy. And these fucking assholes are just standing in the gym talking. Mm-hmm. And it's like, what the fuck are you doing?
Those motherfuckers having a goddamn conversation in the gym.
30 minutes?
No, I see what you're talking about, Evan, because that's the gym rat ideas that people have, where it's just like, I'm gonna go hang out at the gym with my bros.
I'm just gonna stand here and look ripped.
To try to pick up chicks.
Is he ripped? Were they? Then they do work out because they didn't magically do it by talking. So now that they're talking for 30 minutes, they're because if you're in the goddamn gym, you get on the fucking machine and don't you talk to a goddamn soul. No. Work your ass. Shut the fuck up, Kyle. I'm not telling.
No, it's a whole mentality. It's one thing to do like Evan talks about doing. Like he goes to the gym, he does what he does, and then he leaves. Like how long do you spend at a gym, Evan?
I just go in there and run and leave.
So what? 30 minutes to an hour and a half, maybe at most, if you decide to do something else.
Yeah.
Okay. There are people who will go to the gym and they'll be there for 4 and 5 hours. There comes a point when what you're doing isn't beneficial anymore.
Yeah.
And those guys are just in there because it's this weird mentality to like, got to do this to look cool, and I got to hang out with my buds because we hang out at the gym, or I'm trying to pick up chicks or whatever. And the girls do it too. It's just weird.
And I know where Shane's coming from.
I do too.
It's cool to have conversations, but that's not what these people are doing. Like once they're doing it all the time. They just go in there and they stand and they talk.
That's where they do their socializing. Just like some people go to a bar and some people go to a
okay,
bookstore.
Shane's right. Everybody, Shane's right. We're wrong.
No, I'm serious. Think about it. It's like, well, here you go. Hey, I met this girl. I was talking to her at concerts. I go to concerts all the time and talk to people. Why aren't you listening to the fucking music, asshole? That's what you're there for.
Well, if I may, I don't talk to them while the fucking bands are playing because I'm too busy moshing and
well, of course, you wouldn't be able to hear it.
Well, you can do it. Trust me. People try. But I wait until there's nothing else to do there. So if you were to apply that logic to a gym, it's like, well, there's plenty of things to do there. Why aren't you doing it?
And also,
well, maybe they're done working out for the day, so they talk.
Put it in perspective of what's going on right now up here at UGA. So right now, class has just started, so there's a lot of new people here, and every student who is on campus or has classes pays for a health fee, which includes you going to the gym. I try to go to the gym because I finally was back into the fee for it the other day. I was told, oh, I'm sorry, it's a 1-in, 1-out right now because there's too many people in there because that many people were going. So now if you're sitting in here just chilling, then I can't fucking get in there.
Different.
And it's like
that's
that
different.
At certain times of the day, that gym is so fucking full that they can't let that many people in there. And there'll be a line to get in. So it's like if you've worked on a time schedule, you're sitting here like, well, I've only got an hour, and now I got to stand here for 15 to 30 minutes for some motherfuckers who are just in there, doing stupid shit on equipment that they don't know what they're doing because they're just in here. That's where I'm coming from on it.
That's different. If you're just fucking around and someone else actually needs to do something you're doing, but that's true about anything.
Yeah, that's like I was telling the PT guy today. I was like, I'm not going to go back until the middle or end of September because that's when most of the people and the freshmen and the new people will either say fucking give up or, they'll be on some sort of schedule. Because right now it's just like everybody's kind of going in there and just testing the waters to see what it's like. And the gym's big and the gym's nice, but there ain't enough fucking room for as many people are trying to get in. So,
for some reason, I'm also reminded of something I think about when people are driving. And they're driving along and someone's in front of them and they're going too slow for them. They're like, I wish this motherfucker would hurry up and fucking go. They're too goddamn slow. Later on, they're driving, and a car passes them and goes by like really fast. They're like, "Why are these motherfuckers going so goddamn fast for? Reckless assholes!"
Man, it's really weird. I was having like a thought to myself the other day. It's like how the ego works. So, like, take what you just said. Hear me out for a second. Okay, so let's say that you're driving, and there's a car behind you that the guy has to take a shit really bad. So he passes you. Well, you see this guy, and you're just like, oh, look at Mr. Awesome Guy driving fast in his car. I guess that means he's cooler than me. Look at him driving fast. When really, you don't understand what's going on in that guy's brain, so it's your ego reacting to what you perceive that person is thinking. Therefore, you're making your own life miserable.
That's true.
That's how ego works.
Okay.
Speaking of how ego works, let's talk about Jackie Chan's son.
Okay.
Who thought that he was so cool that he could get out of, 100 pounds of marijuana?
What? 100 pounds?
I don't know how much it was. So
It was like 100 pounds of marijuana.
all right, so the basis of the story is Jackie Chan's son got arrested for marijuana possession in China. And
Now I see.
Jackie
All I
Chan
heard was
talking about how he was like ashamed and enraged by it.
Shane thought he just had a spliff.
oh yeah, it's like
He
it's
had
like
a
you mean,
Thai
I was
stick.
like you mean he had like some marijuana? It's like okay, well I guess
He had that,
Yeah,
but
he
she
was
was
like a
trafficking.
straight up drug dealer.
That's completely different.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
And
messed
from
up.
what I heard, the last he got, he's getting 3 years and a fine, which is amazingly light, no doubt due to being Jackie Chan's son.
Yeah, he's lucky he didn't get sent off to government prison and never seen again. Because like most
Dude.
Asian countries don't fuck around with drug stuff.
Well, they realize it's like, they had a fucking boardroom meeting. It's like, all right, guys, we're in a tight spot. We're in a tight spot.
Mm.
We have to figure out what the fuck we can do, but we can't punish him too hard because it's Jackie Chan. He'll kill the whole fucking country. He'll be backflipping and breaking necks, and there's not a goddamn thing that we can do.
Actually, they just all been conscious. I don't think he's ever killed anybody. Well, his old movies, maybe.
Yeah.
His old kung fu
I like
movies, he will.
Shane had a comment about why Jackie was actually ashamed of his son.
It's because he got caught.
Yeah.
Could you imagine trying to catch Jackie Chan's son as you're running through the city, especially China where everything's close together, and he's bouncing between walls and you're running across rooftops, beating people with chickens.
And Jackie Chan's like, that's why I am ashamed. If I was selling drugs, I would be doing backflip. Nobody would catch me.
Yeah.
But you are my son. You spend too much time smoking marijuana. You smoke weed, you get lazy, no do martial art, now you get caught.
That's exactly what I think that's probably why he was ashamed.
And it's like that picture of Jackie Chan holding his forehead on the internet. He's like, why is my son caught? He should have done the fucking run up the wall move that I do all the time.
I imagine too it's like the over expecting Asian father meme. Why you only have 100 pounds? Why not 200?
He expected his son to throw the bricks of marijuana at the cops while he does like a backflip out of a window to escape.
Yeah. But throw him in such
Like
a way
throwing
that
him like Shinobi, the fucking ninja star.
but throw him in such a way that the bricks come back to him so he doesn't lose them.
his praying mantis kung fu has got such a strong wrist that he can turn the brick into a boomerang.
But that's messed up. I mean, like, because I saw that and I was like, what? First off, I didn't know Jackie Chan had children.
I didn't either.
But I mean, it makes sense. I mean, he's old as fuck.
His
Of
kid's named
course.
JC, Jayce.
I like that thing with no real explanation to it. It's like, well, he's old as fuck. After a certain time, you split,
Mhm.
and you
Yeah.
just another of you just pops off.
Yeah.
By that time, that should have happened already.
Yes.
I mean,
Natural process.
that's how science works, dude. Get on this level.
Is it
Also, you kind of
mitosis?
imagine that, like, Jackie Chan doesn't have any time to go out and, like, make lady friends because he's too busy doing, like, upside-down sit-ups, like, in the countryside, tied to some bamboo somewhere.
Or I just
He's,
figured,
like, doing power squats over fucking flames and shit.
well, not just that, but that he was probably always had something broken, and he just like, oh, I'm not in the mood right now. I've just broke my left pinky toe, and it's just fucking me up right now. Though then again,
He's still a man. If you're famous and there's girls just beating down your door, your left arm can just rest on the pillow.
Beating down
Because
something
another
else.
part of you is definitely going to work.
that's
I
true.
wonder if we took that literally, if that was still. I mean, like literally beating down. Let me in, goddammit! Give it to me!
That all depends on how they looked.
Always the qualifier.
That could awaken the beast within yourself. It's like, I'm ready for the challenge. And then
Hey, man. I think we can take the first 3, man.
it's like, you guys ever see the clip of that kung fu movie where the man and the woman meet up in air and start having sex while they're
Oh
flying
my
through the
God.
air?
No.
That's exactly what would happen.
What the fuck?
Yeah,
That's exactly what would happen.
yeah. It's just like they would one was doing a jump kick and the other one was doing a jump kick, and then they just fucking scissored and the dick went into the vagina and they just started having sex while flying through the air, and I was like,
What kind of kung fu is that?
man, I don't know, but I want to learn it.
Fuck you.
Fuck you.
Oh man.
Fukyu. Fuck you. That's a restaurant, isn't it?
I don't know.
I saw it on the internet. It must be true.
Oh, no.
Speaking of saw it on the internet, it must be true. Shane, didn't you just make your first visit to Reddit?
I did. it was day before yesterday. I actually went to Reddit, and I was like, let me click on funny, and then I'll go to game, and then I'll just go to all of them and look through them. And of course, my very first time on Reddit, when I went to the gaming section, there was like nothing in it because everything was being deleted. I'm like, what the fuck's going on? and it's some big thing that I don't care about and I don't want to talk about. But regardless, it was a bunch of people on both sides blowing things out of proportion.
So
sounds like the internet.
It does, but there is actually. There's a theory that someone came up with, and there's a name for it, and there's people who are actually doing research in it. But the theory is that once a subreddit hits 20,000 people, the actual content that's valid and good goes on a rapid decline. So, it's legit. Like, people are looking into it, like computer science people.
There's a population limit,
yeah.
And then everything crashes.
And they say in another kiss of death, like I've been on a couple subreddits that were offered. What do they call it? Basically, we're like, if you sign up for Reddit, they automatically subscribe you to certain subreddits to kind of get you a feel for it. Yeah, default. They've been offered default status, but they refused it because other subs that got default status just quickly spiraled into garbage. And they're like, we don't want it. We'd rather just have our smaller community. Maybe we do have 50,000 people, but we can manage 50,000. We couldn't manage if you added another, 200,000 people to this community in no time.
That's actually quite true. It's true about many of things.
It is.
Because all these people, especially people who've played online games, if you were ever there, like in the beta, played it, everything's wonderful. You're like, this game is so much better than all the other games where the community is just so bad and toxic, and it gets more popular. And as it gets more popular, you get more people. And the more people you get, the higher percentage of people are assholes.
Yeah.
And it's specifically
harder to
because
manage.
At the beginning, it's a very focused demographic. Mm-hmm. It's only the people that are really looking to find that. And then as it gets more popular, it's easier for other people to find. So it's just like, I want to find something that looks interesting. And then they just go in there and they have no idea what the fuck it is, and they're just doing it out of nowhere. So of course they're not going to have the exact same mindset as the people who are already there. And it could go either way. They could be good, but they also have more likelihood of being stupid.
Evan, you just described World of Warcraft. That's what happened with that. Like, when it was in beta and when it first started, like, God, was it 10 years ago now? It was a long time. But when it first started, it was a great community. It was small. You had really dedicated fans to the game, into Blizzard, into the Warcraft genre, and people were having a great time with it. But as the game expanded, they not only did they have to did the community get worse, but they had to make the game easier so that people who were just coming in could actually understand it and get into it and still be able to progress rather than having to struggle like people who had been there from the beginning did. And so it really kind of, over time, it ruined the game for the dedicated fans because of that. I don't know a lot of people who still play hardcore who were like early adopters. So League of Legends is the same way. Yeah. When it first started, it wasn't that bad because I remember playing with Shane, and now it's just like, it seems like the worst fucking community in the world. Like, next to Call of Duty, I think they're probably the top ones that is just
because
terrible.
They're both really popular, and they're so
massively
percentage
popular.
Of people are assholes. The higher the number, the higher the percentage. Well, the same percentage, but the more people there are, I should say.
Yeah.
So the greater the number.
Right.
That's how Reddit is. Like, if you find some really good subreddits that are small, there's some good stuff that goes on those. But like, once they get huge, it's just garbage, and like, you get into like these personality wars, which is what was going on our gaming, and it went on our technology. That's why our technology lost default status, because they were banning all posts about Bitcoin, saying that that's not valid, which, like, that is something on technology that should be here, and it was like a big topic at one point. And so because of that, the people who run Reddit were just like, well, fuck you, you're not default status anymore. So the default technology subreddit now is our futurology or something.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
They're not. It's not bad. It's managed like fucking Soviet Russia. I mean, if you're a big subreddit, you need a lot of moderators, and you've got to do like that. You've got to have it where it's like, if you post something, we're gonna hammer it down if it shouldn't be put up here. So,
if I may, since I'm the old man here, most of the games that I play came out before 1995. What the fuck is a Bitcoin?
Bitcoin doesn't have anything to do with games, but so what a Bitcoin is, oh man.
Let me compress it.
Yeah.
Okay. What it is like a digital. The people make it call it digital currency, but people call it a commodity. That's not really important. What it is like, there is this algorithm that's really hard to do. It takes a certain amount of computing power. And what it is every time it completes, it basically makes a digital coin. Mm-hmm. And you use them to buy things. So if you do it, there's supposed to be a limited supply of them. So the more people, every time it makes one, it checks with all the other computers that are making them, and it increases the difficulty, so it takes longer to make another.
Yep.
So that way it has value.
Yep.
And basically people use it to buy things, and it's supposed to be very hard to track and stuff like that, and so it's one of those freedom things.
Yeah.
And lots of people take them. So there's even some universities and there's some actual stores you can actually buy things with Bitcoin. Mm-hmm. But that's what it is.
And it trades. Like people, it doesn't trade like on the stock market, but there are trading centers online that trade them and stuff like that.
It has rose up to like $1,000 and crashed down to a penny before.
Yeah. I mean, like right now, like they were in a rapid decline, but I still think like one Bitcoin's worth like $200.
Right.
But
I don't know. This awfully sounds a lot like the mark of the beast to me.
It's actually, libertarians love it because it's basically what libertarians want out of a currency. It's non-fiat, which means the government doesn't control it.
They get all the currency they want when they're flaming in Satan's hell. It's the mark of the beast, I tell you. First with the ATM machines.
No, that's not until you actually have a chip in you that holds your money. That's the mark.
I got one on my shoulder.
Let me spin it away that the average Southern Democrat or Southern conservative would like to hear. You know that your computer right now is doing work. Even if you're not doing anything on it, if it's sitting there, it is working, and you are not getting any money for it. Capitalism, though, says that if something's working, you should get some kind of money for that to pay for it. That's where Bitcoin comes in. While your computer's not being used, you can make it find Bitcoins for you. It can mine them, and then you can take in that money, and you can make money by doing nothing but letting your computer work. It's like slavery. You should be okay with it. Just get a lot of computers and slave them together to mine for you and make money.
My question is, where do you dump the waste, and how much do I have to pay off the politicians?
There is no waste.
Can I call my computer Jose?
And there are no politicians involved. The government doesn't control it.
This sounds.
Are there taxes on it?
There are no taxes on it.
Oh, then it's perfect.
Because
I'm pretty sure every old white man just got a boner for some reason. After you said that.
I mean, one of the first. To give you an idea of the people who are into it, the first political person that accepted it was Ron Paul. I mean, it's a libertarian's wet dream when it comes to currency. But like, it's had a lot of problems.
It's all from an algorithm? It's like a specific...
Basically, your computer is solving puzzles, and each puzzle gets harder. Mm-hmm. And so, like, right now, it's at the point, like, you couldn't just take your computer to do it because they're so hard that people have set up supercomputers and things that are designed only to do it that can do it much better than you. So now the only way to really get in is to buy them or have people donate them to you or sell stuff to you for Bitcoins or whatever.
How do they market this?
They don't. They market it through the community.
Right.
So,
once enough people start using it, then people use it. That's just how it works.
The community got so rabid about it, like they would go to websites and they would just hound the website about accepting Bitcoin until finally a smaller website would. You know, like somebody like Amazon doesn't accept it because they're like, fuck, we don't need that. But smaller websites like Overstock.com accepts it, which that's a fairly large website, truthfully. But yeah.
I got an idea. Let's make a commercial for this. But in order to do that, we have to have a band. We have to have some sort of catchy jingle. Now, I can play guitar. Shane, you can play guitar. And what we'll do is you go lead and I'll go rhythm.
Was that a joke?
Yes, it was.
Okay.
I was trying to make a joke for algorithm, and it took me about a minute and a half.
It was a bad one. I think that's going to conclude the show because that was so terrible.
That's what I was hoping for. I was hoping to kill the show.
You killed me because I was like, wait, is there more to this? Is there a funny part? Because I didn't see it. I'm sorry. I shouldn't be so mean.
Yes, you should.
Okay. Well, fuck you, Evan. Show's over.